Hello and welcome. Take a few moments to get yourself into a comfortable and relaxed position. Whether you want to be seated or fully reclined, do take time to just notice, what does the body need? Gather any necessary props. And just once you settle into a posture, a position where you feel relaxed yet dignified to the best of your ability, can you start to notice that surface beneath you and behind you? Inviting energy and just drawing length gently into the spine while creating ease and softness through the face, the jaw, and the shoulders. Inviting the gaze to transition down, or if it feels safe to do so, certainly let the eyes just slip to a close. No need to rush or force. Be mindful of the transition, starting to shift that focus from the external to the internal. And just in your own time, you can guide awareness to meet the breath and just start by noticing the state of it. What's that experience of inhale and exhale? What is the breath indicating to you about your internal landscape? And just if it feels accessible today, can you slow down that breath? Invite it to deepen. Perhaps engaging in what we call heart-focused breathing, where you allow the breath, that wave of inhale and exhale, to move into your heart space, the center of your chest. Gently opening, creating space on the inhale. Inviting the softness on the exhale. Just begin to notice the state of the heart, the energy that's flowing through it and around it. Unclench the jaw, relax the fists, breathe into your own heart. It's only in silence and when we offer presence that we can begin to realign with what matters to our hearts. So let this be a gentle, compassionate process of you returning to your heart, of consenting to the experience of silence, offering your curiosity to the intelligence, the truth, and the insight that's found within your own heart. James Hollis, an author, he says in his one book, Living Between Worlds, we are always in the in-between. We need to ask ourselves, why has this suffering come, and what does it want and need from me? For so many of us, we can carry pain, tension, or resistance within our own hearts. So can you begin to notice how yours is manifesting? What's the shape of the pain within your heart? Does it have a weight? Is there a texture? Breathe softly as it slowly reveals itself to you. There's no need to fix it, manipulate it, or even solve it. Let this practice be about slowing down so you can have a soft and courageous conversation with your own heart. Breathe compassionately and keep listening. Does this suffering have a temperature? Is there any movement to it? You're here having an experience. Sink beneath the logic, the thinking mind, and breathe your way into heart space. What's calling for your attention? What is that pain pointing you towards? Whenever it's needed, consciously and compassionately choose to come out of heart space and return to the simplicity of breath. Take good care of yourself. There's nothing to prove. And just know wherever you find yourself, You're here to practice being in silence. Whether that means silence with the wave of breath, or silence as you curiously become the observer to your heart's experience. Just simply breathe and practice. Practice staying here, offering reverence to the vastness and complexity of your inner landscape. If you are in that courageous conversation with heart, noticing the unresolved pain, the tension, can you unclench the jaw, take a few deep breaths, and ever so gently ask, how can I help? You're in conversation. Take the time to listen. This embodiment of compassion is twofold. It begins with the recognition of pain, and then it holds the desire to alleviate it. So slowly breathe. Recognize where there may be suffering in your heart, and then ever so gently, as that empathetic witness, lean in. How can I help? Come back to breath. Let it move through your body and your heart. Recommit to having presence in silence. As you choose to stay with yourself in this practice for a few more minutes, I do invite you to adjust your hand posture if it feels safe and accessible. Maybe hands rest softly right over the heart, or you can gently place one hand on heart, the other hand on belly. Just a physical acknowledgement that you are here with yourself, for yourself. And as you find and adopt that compassionate posture, I'd like to offer you a poem. This piece is titled Sharing Silence, and it's from Gunilla Norris. Within each of us there is a silence as vast as a universe. We are afraid of it, and we long for it. When we experience that silence, we remember who we are, creatures of the stars created, from the cooling of this planet created, from dust and gas created, from the elements created, from time and space created, from silence. In our present culture, silence is something like an endangered species, an endangered fundamental. The experience of silence is now so rare that we must cultivate it and treasure it. This is especially true for shared silence. Sharing silence is, in fact, a political act. When we can stand aside from the usual and perceive the fundamental, change begins to happen. Our lives align with deeper values, and the lives of others are touched and influenced. Silence brings us back to basics, to our senses, to ourselves. It locates us. Without that return, we can go so far away from our true nature that we end up, quite literally, beside ourselves. We live blindly and act thoughtlessly. We endanger the delicate balance which sustains our lives, our communities, and our planet. Each of us can make a difference. Politicians and visionaries will not return us to the sacredness of life. That will be done by ordinary people who together or alone can say, remember to breathe, remember to feel, remember to care. Let us do this for our children and ourselves and our children's children. Let us practice for life's sake. So just slowly find your way to breath. Take a few mindful cycles of inhale and exhale. Just gradually starting to ease off from your practice. And just when you feel ready, you can create movement to the body. Slowly let the eyes flutter open. I want to thank you for taking the time to practice, for sharing in the silence. Please take good care, stay safe, and be well.